languages and IDE for embedded system design, part 3. Task communication or synchronization issues. First one, racing. Racing or race condition is a situation in which multiple processes complete or race each other to access and manipulate shared data at the same time. Final value of shared data depends on the process which acted on the data finally. Let's consider one example. Here, header files are windows.h, stdio.h. By using the syntax, #include open angle bracket windows.h close angle bracket. Then #include open angle bracket stdio.h close angle bracket. Then declare one more variable of type character. Buffer of 10 is equal to open flower bracket 1 to 10 close flower bracket semicolon. This is the array of numbers. Then declare one more variable as short int counter is equal to 0. Then write one process. Void process underscore a open parenthesis void close parenthesis. Then open flower bracket close flower bracket. Then declare one variable of int I and have one for loop from 0 to less than 5. And open flower bracket close flower bracket. Then check if buffer of high is greater than 0. Then increment the counter by 1. This loop will happen from I is equal to 0 to less than 5. Process B, void process underscore B open parenthesis void close parenthesis open flower bracket close flower bracket. Then declare one variable in j. Then for j is equal to 0, j less than 10, j plus plus. This for loop loops from 5 to 9. Then open flower bracket close flower bracket. Then if open parenthesis buffer of j greater than 0, increment counter by 1. Then start the main thread int main open parenthesis. Then create threads of process A and process B. Then include some delay by using sleep of 10000 close parenthesis semicolon. Then return 0. From a programmer perspective, the value of counter will be done at the end of execution of both process A and process B, but it is not always true. Low-level implementation of the high-level program statement counter plus plus for the Windows XP operating system running on an Intel Centeno Duo processor is given below. Move EAX, dword ptr open square bracket EBP -4 close square bracket semicolon. Load the counter value to accumulator. The accumulator is EAX. Add EAX, 1 semicolon. Increment accumulator by 1. Here accumulator is EAX. It is incremented by 1. Move dword ptr open square bracket EBP -4 close square bracket EAX semicolon. Store the counter with accumulator. Accumulator is EAX. Since in both the process A and process B, counter plus plus functionality is same for both process A and process B, which are having the same code. It is shown in the table process A and process B. Now consider the figure. Now consider process A is executed. Move EAX dword ptr open square bracket EBP -4 close square bracket is executed, and when it is about to execute the next instruction, add EAX, 1. Process B increments the shared variable counter in the middle of the operation where process A tries to increment it. After this, process A gets the CPU time for execution. It starts from the point where it got interrupted. If process B is also having the same registers, EAX and EBP, for executing counter plus plus instruction, the original content of these registers will be saved. This is called context saving, and it will be retrieved back, called context retrieval, when process A gets the CPU time for execution. Hence, the content of EAX and EBP remains saved even in context switching. variable counter is incremented by process B, process A is unaware of it and it increments the variable with the old value. This is the loss of one increment for the variable counter. This is called racing condition. The solution for this is to make the access and modification of shared variables mutually exclusive, meaning when one process accesses a shared variable, prevent the other process from accessing it. Second, deadlock. A race condition produces incorrect results, whereas a deadlock condition creates a situation where none of the processes are able to make any progress in their execution, resulting in a set of deadlock processes. Example, traffic jam issues. In traffic jam issues, whenever traffic jam happens in all the 4 roads, none of the vehicles are able to move. This is a deadlock condition. Deadlock is a condition in which one process is waiting for a resource held by another process, which in turn waiting for a resource held by the first process. Figure shows process A holds a resource X and it wants a resource Y held by process B. Process B is currently holding resource Y and it wants the resource X, which is currently held by process A. Both holds the 1 resources and they compete each other to get the resource held by the other process. This is deadlock condition. None of the competing process will be able to access the resources held by the other process since they are locked by the respective process. If a mutual exclusion policy is implemented for shared resources access, the resource is locked by the process which is currently accessing it. The different conditions favoring a deadlock situation are listed below. Mutual exclusion. The criteria that only one process can hold a resource at a time. Hold and wait. In this condition, the process holds a shared resource and it is locked for that process and it is waiting for additional resources held by other processes. No resource preemption. This is the criteria in which the operating system cannot take back a resource from a process which is currently holding it, and the resource can only be released voluntarily by the process holding it. Circular wait. A process is waiting for a resource which is currently held by another process, and the second process will wait for the resource held by the first process. In general, there are P0, P1, Pn set for waiting processes. P0 is waiting for a resource held by P1 and P1 is waiting for a resource held by P0 up to Pn. Pn is waiting for a resource held by P0 and P0 is waiting for a resource held by Pn and so on. This forms a circular wait queue. Deadlock is the result of the combined occurrence of following 4 conditions listed above. Deadlock handling. A smart OS may foresee the deadlock condition and will act proactively to avoid such a situation. Now, if a deadlock occurs, how will be the OS response to it? The OS may adopt any of the following techniques to detect and prevent deadlock conditions. Ignore deadlocks. Always assume that the system design is deadlock free. This is acceptable because the cost of removing the deadlock is large compared to the chance of happening a deadlock. Detect and recover. This approach suggests the detection of a deadlock situation and recovery from it. The operating system keeps a resource graph in their memory. The resource graph is updated whenever resource request and resource release happens. A deadlock condition can be detected by analyzing the resource graph by using Graph analyzer algorithms. Once a deadlock condition is detected, the system can terminate a process or preempt the resource. Avoid deadlocks. Deadlock can be avoided by the resource allocation techniques of the operating system. Prevent deadlocks. Prevent the deadlock condition by negating one of the four conditions. These four conditions favors the deadlock situation. First one, ensure that a process does not hold any other resources when it requests a resource. This can be achieved by implementing the following set of rules or guidelines. A process must request all its required resource and the resources should be allocated before the process begins its execution. B. Grant the resources for the resource allocation request from the process only if the process does not hold that resource currently. Second, ensure the resource preemption is possible at operating system level. Resource preemption is resource releasing. This can be achieved by implementing the following set of rules or guidelines in resource allocation and releasing. A. Release all the resources currently held by a process if a request made by that process for a new resource is not able to fulfill immediately. B. Add the resources which are preempted or released to a resource list which is having resources which the process requires to complete its execution. Reschedule the process for execution only when the process gets its old resources and the new resource which are requested by the process. Adopting these criterions may introduce negative impacts like low resource utilization and starvation of process. Live lock. The live lock condition is similar to the deadlock condition except that a process in live lock condition changes its state with time. Whereas in deadlock, a process enters in wait state for a resource and continues in that state forever without making any progress in the execution. In a live lock condition, a process always do something but is unable to make any progress in the execution completion. Starvation. In the multitasking, starvation is the condition in which a process does not get the required resource to continue its execution for a long time. Mutual exclusion through sleep and wake up. When a process is not allowed to access the critical section which is currently being locked by another process, the process undergoes sleep and enters the blocked state. The process which is blocked and waiting for access to the critical section is awakened by the process which currently owns the critical section. The process which owns the critical section sends a wake-up message to the process which is sleeping as a result of waiting for the access to the critical section when the process leaves the critical section. Semaphore. Semaphore is a sleep and wake-up based mutual exclusion implementation for shared resource access. Semaphore is a system resource and the process which wants to access the shared resource can first acquire this system object to indicate the other process which wants the shared resource that the shared resource is currently acquired by it. The resources which are shared among a process can be either for exclusive use by a process or for using by a number of processes at a time. Based on the implementation of the sharing limitations of the shared resource, semaphore are classified into two, namely binary semaphore and counting semaphore. First one, counting semaphore. Counting semaphore limits the access of resources by a fixed number of processes or threads. Counting semaphore maintains a count between 0 and a value. It limits the usage of the resource to the maximum value of the count supported by it. The state of the counting semaphore object is said to be signaled when the count of the object is greater than 0. The The count associated with the semaphore object is decremented by 1 when a process or thread acquires it, and the count is incremented by 1 when a process or thread releases the semaphore object. The state of the semaphore object is set to non-signaled when the semaphore is acquired by the maximum number of processes or threads that the semaphore can support. The real-world example for the counting semaphore concept is the dormitory system. The dormitory system is for accommodation. It is shown in figure. A dormitory contains a fixed number of beds, for example say 5, and at any point of time it can be shared by the maximum number of users supported by the dormitory. If a process wants to avail the dormitory facility, he or she can contact the dormitory caretaker for checking the availability. If beds are available in the dorm, the caretaker will hand over the keys to the user. If beds are not available currently, the user can register his or her name to get notification when a slot is available. Those who are availing the dormitory shares the dorm facilities like TV, telephone, toilet, etc. when a dorm user vacates. He or she gives the key back to the caretaker. The caretaker informs the users who booked in advance about the dorm availability. Binary semaphore or mutex. The binary semaphore provides exclusive access to shared resource by allocating the resource to a single process at a time and not allowing the other process to access it when it is owned by a process. Under certain OS kernel, it is referred as mutex. Binary semaphore or mutex is a synchronization object provided by OS for process or thread synchronization. Any process or thread can create a mutex object, and the other process or threads of the system can use this mutex object for synchronizing the access to critical sections. Only one process or thread can own the mutex object at a time. The state of the mutex object is set to signal when it is not owned by any process or thread and set to non-signal when it is owned by any process or thread. Binary semaphore concept is explained with hotel accommodation system example. It is shown in figure. The rooms in a hotel are shared for the public. Any user who pays and follows the norms of the hotel can avail the rooms for accommodation. A person wants to avail the hotel room facility can contact the hotel reception for checking the room availability. If room is available, the receptionist will hand over the room key to the user. If room is not available currently, the user can book the room to get notification when a room is available. When a person gets a room, he or she is granted the exclusive access to the room facility like TV, telephone, toilet, etc. When a user vacates the room, he or she gives the keys back to the receptionist. The receptionist informs the users who booked in advance about the room's availability. How to choose an RTOS? Many factors are considered in the selection of an RTOS. They are functional requirements, non-functional requirements. First one, functional requirements. In that first one, processor support. It is not necessary that all RTOS support all kinds of processor architecture. It is essential to ensure architecture supports processor. Memory requirements. The OS requires ROM memory for holding the OS files, and it is normally stored in a non-volatile memory like flash. OS also requires RAM for loading the OS services. Since embedded systems are memory constrained, it is essential to check the minimal ROM and RAM requirements for the OS under consideration. Real-time capabilities. It is not mandatory that the operating system for all embedded systems need to be real-time, and all embedded operating systems are real-time in behavior. The task or process scheduling policies plays an important role in the real-time behavior of an OS. Analyze the real-time capabilities of the OS under consideration and the standard met by the operating system for real-time capabilities. Kernel and interrupt latency. The kernel of the OS may disable interrupts while executing certain services, and it may lead to interrupt latency. Inter-process communication and task synchronization. The implementation of communication among the task and synchronization is OS kernel dependent. Certain kernels may provide a bunch of options, whereas other provides very limited options. Priority inversion is the condition in which a high priority task needs to wait for a low priority task to release a resource. Certain kernels implement policies for avoiding priority inversion issues in resource sharing. First one, modularization support. Most of the operating system provide a bunch of features. At a single time, all the features are not necessary for an embedded product for its functioning. It is very useful if the OS supports modularization, where developer can choose the essential modules and recompile the OS image for functioning. OS image is a file that contains the OS, your executables, and any data files that might be related to your programs. Second one, support for networking and communication. The OS kernel may provide stack implementation and driver support for a bunch of communication interfaces and networking. OS will support all the interfaces required by the embedded product. Third one, development language support. Runtime library is a set of low-level routines used by a compiler to invoke some of the behaviors of a runtime environment by inserting calls to the runtime library. Certain operating systems include the runtime libraries required for running applications written in languages like Java, C#. The OS may include these components as built-in component. If not, check is it available from the third-party vendor for the OS under consideration. Non-functional requirement. Custom developed or off-the-shelf. Depending on the OS requirement, develop the complete operating system which suits the embedded system needs and use an off-the-shelf readily available operating system which is either a commercial product or an open source product which is in close match with the system requirement. Sometimes it may be possible to build required features by customizing an open source OS. The decision on which OS to select is purely dependent on the development cost, licensing fee for the OS, development time and availability of skilled resources. Cost. The total cost for developing or buying the OS and maintaining it in terms of commercial product and custom build needs to be evaluated before taking a decision on the selection of the OS. Custom builds needs means based on the build features are customized based on requirements. Development and debugging tools availability. The availability of development and debugging tools is a critical decision-making factor in the selection of an OS for embedded design. Certain operating systems may be superior in performance, but the availability of tools for supporting the development may be limited. Ease of use. How easy it is to use a commercial RTOS is another important feature that needs to be considered in the RTOS selection. After sales. For a commercial embedded RTOS, after sales, email, on-call services, etc. for bug fixes, critical patch updates and support for production issues, etc. should be analyzed thoroughly.